Today's episode is titled Accountability, Scandal, and the Church That Doesn't Want to Deal with Either. Let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, family, welcome back to another episode of the King Jives Show podcast. Today, we've got to have a grown conversation, not a church conversation, not a cover-up conversation, but a real conversation.
Oh, yeah. It's the King Jives Show, baby. Turn it up, turn it up. We riding high, spotlight glow, killing hearts on the King Jives Show. Sexy vibes, truth overflow. Laugh, cry, love, let the whole world know. Yo,
This is the King Jives Show.
Because once again, Prophet Brian Carn is trending, not for prophecy, not for revival, not for kingdom advancement, but for scandal. And this time, another woman has stepped forward. Earlier this year, it was Vashti. Now we have Amber, who has presented a baby and is allegedly waiting on a DNA test that, according to the streets, Brian Carn does not want to take.
So for me, I know that the letter potentially got sent or is getting sent, but mind you, I still don't have justice for my daughter, because I didn't have that much of a cooperable men, because of the decisions and things that I've decided to make, which I take full accountability for that. But I've gotten the help that I needed. I took the step to take therapy, and I started taking therapy over the situation. And I got completely sober. I am going on about to be 6 months of being sober from alcohol, from smoking vape, smoking weed. Like, I'm completely sober, and I thank God for just changing my life around. If it wasn't for my current boyfriend that is such an advocate for me and my child, I wouldn't have been able to take those steps. But you do have to change your environment in order to be like in that state of being like completely sober. There's some women that are just really creepy there. They're possessive, and it's okay. Maybe it's something that happened. I'm not sure, but I still care about them too, it's unfortunate, but there's some women almost waiting their shot allegedly to be a first lady. And I'm like, I don't know. But I was like, I prayed about it, and I don't want to speak out with any type of ill will intention in my heart and have any malice in my heart. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, that was your truth. That was your story. If he didn't want to be a part of your story, he shouldn't have been in your story. So it's like, I feel like I have every right to speak on my truth, and maybe my truth can help some women or people that could be in that church still potentially going through what I might have went through, where I had to keep everything a secret. And while I'm seeing him raise his hand in victory, I'm struggling and I'm going through things inside because I have to keep things secretive between me and him, even when we started talking. Mind you, I told y'all I was keeping my options open because I said, something ain't right here. I felt like, there were certain things that I approached him about, and he even got one girl to call me on a three-way to prove that he wasn't communicating with her. I found out years later that he allegedly was talking and still communicating with this lady through my friend that I had took in. So it was so many things when I took her in that got officially confirmed that I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Is this really my pastor? At the time, now my ex-pastor. But this is someone that I looked up to and I highly admired, and I was almost kind of scared of in a way. I felt I don't know. It was just so many things that I was just scared to communicate or talk about. But the fact that I'm still going through the process of waiting on this DNA test to come back, I just really don't genuinely know. But I can say that I'm a really nice person. I wouldn't harm a fly. And I just hate that I had to go through something like that. I don't know. I just feel I don't know. I would give the shirt off of my back. So I don't understand why I would be the one to go through something like that. Why me? Why can't it be anybody else? I take full accountability, and I know that I played a part because two is it's two people that are involved. So I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, like, don't be frightened to speak up and tell your story. Like, be honest, it's okay. And then I see my friend get attacked like that. And I really care about her as a sister. I'm so serious. My friend Vashti, I really care about her a lot. And I just seen her get attacked. I seen the scrutiny. Like, I seen the people from KCC, like, swarm on her like the bees, like, almost like the beehive for Beyonce. Shout out to Beyonce. But it was like, no, like, I'm going to speak my truth. Like, I told my dad was, like, furious. Like, not like that, but he was ready to, like, speak to him, allegedly. But I was like, Dad, like, don't worry about it. So my dad ended up just telling, like, his brothers and sisters, and, like, I'm just so glad that God, like, protected me, because, like, God's rejection is his protection. So I'm glad that it didn't end the way that I wanted to.
So let's start here. This is not the first time, and at the rate things are going, it might not be the last. We saw this story play out earlier with Vashti. Allegations, receipts, voice notes, screenshots, and the church said nothing. Or worse, they said, touch not my anointed. Now Amber has stepped forward with a baby and is requesting a DNA test that allegedly Carn is refusing. Let me ask you something. How many women have to come forward before the church comes forward? How many babies have to be involved before the board steps in? How many scandals do we sweep under the rug before the rug turns into a mountain? The problem isn't just Brian Carn. The problem is the system that keeps allowing this behavior to continue unchecked. I want to say something some pastors are too scared to say. The church has an accountability problem. We hold members accountable. We hold musicians accountable. We hold ushers accountable. But when it comes to the leaders, the men with the microphones, the prophets with the platforms, suddenly the church develops selective blindness. Nobody wants to say, brother, you need to sit down. Prophet, you need therapy, not a pulpit. Sir, you need accountability, not applause. And then we wonder why scandal repeats. We protect charisma and sacrifice character. We elevate gifting and ignore integrity. We defend the leader and abandon the victims. Let's talk about the women for a moment, because people love to blame them. But I want to look at this honestly. The problem isn't just the women who come forward. The problem is the women and men who enable behind the scenes. The assistants, the armor bearers, the elders, the spiritual mothers and fathers, the fans, the people who know the truth but stay silent because that's the prophet. You're not protecting him, you're enabling him. You're not covering him, you're covering the behavior. And when the church becomes a cover-up agency, we have lost the moral authority to talk about holiness, righteousness, or order. And listen, women of God, you deserve a man who wants to stand beside you, not hide behind his title. You deserve truth, not trauma. You deserve responsibility, not reputation damage control. So let's deal with the big question. What is the church going to do about this? Because at this point, silence is complicity. Here are the steps churches should be taking. 1. Immediate investigation. Not after the next conference, not after the next offering, immediately. 2. Mandatory accountability boards, not made up of friends, fans, or spiritual sons. 3. Mandatory counseling and evaluation. You can't heal what you won't confront. 4. A public statement to the people, not to gossip, but to restore trust. 5. Protection for the women involved. The church cannot be a safe haven for predators while being a danger zone for victims. Because at the end of the day, if a man can prophesy the nations but can't take a DNA test, then something is off in the spirit and in the natural. I'll say this as we close. The gospel is not the problem. Jesus is not the problem. The church structure is the problem. Because we've created celebrities, not servants. We've built brands, not brothers. We've raised performers, not prophets. And until the church decides that accountability matters more than image, we will keep seeing scandals. We will keep burying truth. And we will keep losing good people who walked away, not from God, but from this broken system. To Brian Carn, if the baby is yours, take care of your responsibility. If it isn't, take the test and clear your name. Accountability is not persecution. Accountability is maturity. To the church, stop shouting over what you should be addressing. Stop dancing around what needs to be confronted. Stop defending what God himself is exposing. This has been another truth-telling episode of the King Jives Show podcast. Stay aware, stay prayerful, and stay woke, because the church may not like the truth, but somebody's got to tell it. I'll see y'all next time.